Hi, Leah. So, what do I say? For the past hour, all I keep thinking is, it's me. I have to fix something about me. I'm like, this is so not my energy. What's going on? It's you guys. I was going to do the Cancer reading, but I'm like, no. Leos are really feeling bad about themselves. What happened? I think you guys went through a test and you might have felt like you failed, or that you're sinking into the same old pattern, or that it might, like you haven't learned something valuable that you thought you had. It was a lesson that you would nail down and you would move past, but now you're re-examining and questioning everything. Whoa, all in reverse. Okay. The Lovers, King of Cups, the Star, and the Hermit in reverse. I think this is the fourth reading that the Hermit has come out in reverse. Oh. Speaking of the Hermit in reverse, if I could just grab that and turn it off. Sorry. So, what was I saying? Let's look at them again. All in reverse, all falling out together. The Lovers, the King of Cups, the Star, and the Hermit in reverse. Okay, so if this is about a water sign that you feel has been flaky or cavalier with your feelings, definitely coming up. If this is a Gemini that you also feel that way about, here we are. If this is an Aquarius or a Virgo, definitely also here. What does that mean? That means that a lot of you are dealing with this upside down love energy. You are. It's like getting back into the groove of something, and then once you do, you are so optimistic, like, oh yeah, okay, back in the groove, yay. And then everything is upside down and you're like, wait, no, I don't really trust this energy. I'm not really trusting the water that's coming in from every side right now. I'm not with the water. There is a solar eclipse in Aquarius that may throw you. And this card here in reverse, once again, in yet another reading, I feel to me exemplifies that energy in your life, which has been too inconsistent, which has been hurtful in its ability to keep attention from you. You're just not feeling like running the race anymore. You want to not have to play games, and the Lovers in reverse is like being sucked back into the game. It's like a Godfather 3 moment. The King of Cups in reverse is someone exhibiting an enormous amount of feeling for you and then, somehow pulling back, or the cup being emptied. The Star card is, a woman emptying the water into a larger, let's say, the water of life. She's, working with the primordial waters, which is why she can wish for what she wants. Upside down, you have the deluge. You have not one pouring water out of a vessel into the greater body, but the body falling onto oneself. So too much of a good thing. Even the ability to interact with the universe and get what you want. The indication here being that you're so plugged in that it's almost too much. So you went ahead and used your energy to manifest what you wanted, but then when you got it, it really was still another lesson and not really quite the thing yet. And the disappointment now is turning all these cards in reverse, where it's like there's this prevailing sense of, damn it, why did I let myself fall for this again so soon after, what I've just kind of learned and not been through. I don't want to make it seem like you guys have been through the most horrendous time. That's not what I mean, but just this sense of I trusted too soon. Often when you're dealing with a Gemini and the Lover's card comes up in reverse, it's because you hadn't really known both aspects of their personality before you tied your, Leo heart to them. And now anything they do is going to be fine because you've already decided that that's the person. Earlier today, I was talking with a friend of mine who's a Leo, and I had to keep pointing out to her that it's more important to be smart and accept that you're wrong about something than to be dumb and insist that you're right. And that's really like encapsulating how I feel about February for you guys. You have to come to terms with this need that you have within you to be right, and when it becomes a weapon, and when you are just kind of forging ahead on empty pride and resolving yourself to something based really on nothing except that you in the past were like, no, I'm loyal to that, or I believe this, or I've decided this is what it is. And now in blind adherence to that, you are willing to compromise so much of yourself because you've already decided that's the person, that's a good person, or it's okay if that person treats me this way because I, essentially deserve it because that person has to stay in my life. So I'm going to rewrite everything that person does before it gets to me so it can make sense to me in a way, reverse engineer it so I can make sense of it so that person can stay in my life. These are all the, steps to being emotionally abused when we push ourselves into emotionally abusive situations. And having come out of a lot of tenuous circumstances, a lot of Leos are now, we're now looking to the future like, okay, we got out of that mess. Now we're on to better things. Now we're healing. Yes, but that doesn't mean that the lesson has been completely learned just because you're ready to move on. And that's really frustrating, right? But again, that's why the card's in reverse. The Hermit in reverse, aside from coming up over and over again, is also an indication for you about your inner state, what's going on with you. The Hermit in reverse, when it comes to personal truths, can be a jarring card to get because it means that something is going to come up out of you, some insight that you will have into yourself that is going to upend what you think you know about yourself. So for example, for a lot of you, this will translate to, wow, I thought I was really confident and I thought I had a lot of self-esteem and very high self-esteem, but I'm realizing now that I'm quite shaken by someone's approval of me or rejection of me. Wow, have a lot of pride in this and this and this and this, but ultimately when I'm challenged on an emotional level, do I cling to that pride or do I have, authentic interactions with people? These are all questions, some version of this where you look at some really key aspect of yourself and you go, oh, I see. Oh, that is what the end of this month, so in like 10 days from now or so, the end of this month of January gives you a lunar eclipse in Leo, in your sign. And that can definitely read like the Hermit in reverse because an eclipse in your sign is going to show you things that perhaps you'd rather not see. Being alone in the dark with yourself is not easy when there is a lot that you're used to, it's like being shoved in the closet with the light off, but it's the closet that you put all your stuff in that you don't want to deal with. And now you get shoved in there in the dark and you got to deal with it. Not, the most pleasant thing, but if you can understand what you're about to be pushed into, it will make it easier. So there will be some realization that you have about yourself that will be a hermit in reverse moment where you'll be like, whoa, I didn't realize I've always thought that this aspect of me was because of this, this, and this. But really what's happening here is I'm behaving like this. That, whoa, wow. What you do with that whoa, wow moment is really, what we should be talking about. Because although I understand and I'm acknowledging the Lovers in reverse and the King of Cups and the Star in reverse and the Hermit in reverse, this is definitely talking about the next eclipse. So first you have the lunar eclipse in Leo, and then you have the solar eclipse across from you in Aquarius. How's the solar eclipse going to go? Probably a lot like the lunar eclipse. First, one area of your life in terms of relationships is going to be examined, that area being your relationship with yourself and how that then affects the people around you. And then 2 weeks later, what will be examined is your self and how that self interacts with the greater population and how that self specifically interacts with someone that they're in love with. So around Valentine's Day, which is pretty, it's difficult timing, right around the 15th, you're going to start feeling really, really insightful. Now, I'm not going to say whether that's good or bad, or, that really depends on how you want to take it, but you will be very insightful in terms of how your actions come off to others. You will reach new levels of self-awareness. And the Star in reverse kind of sums that up perfectly, because self-awareness is not necessarily something that Leo likes to indulge in. There are a lot of things that Leo is well aware of, like I'm like this, I'm like this, I'm like this. That doesn't necessarily mean that you guys are the type that want to sit around and now contemplate, your awareness and what you've done and how it must have seemed, and you don't have time for all that. So to be pushed into that energy and being able to, having the gift, of being able to look at yourself from the outside, it may not feel like a gift, and be able to observe your dynamics with other people from this third party detached point of view is what the solar eclipse is going to be about. And that also feels like a reversal, because it is going at your foundations in terms of following your heart and love and what you think love is and what you think partnership is. You will come out of February feeling a lot more wise, a lot more grounded, not because of any externalities, but because you are, in a very real sense, walking out of February knowing yourself better to the point where you're excited about March. You're excited about April because you're like, yes, I'm ready to meet somebody real. I'm done with my tests. I'm done with learning the same lesson over and over again and failing over and over again because I keep, falling off and mistaking the lesson for the important thing, the person bringing the lesson as the important thing. Instead of holding on to the lesson, I'm holding on to the person. Whenever you do that, that lesson will reappear again because you're missing the point. The point is not the person. The point is not the actual two lovers. The point is the realizations and the insights that we come to about ourselves that make ultimately our life better if we allow them. Instead, if we allow them as concepts and learning experiences to touch us and to make us better, instead of deifying the person or the package that the lesson is coming in and saying, okay, this is, this is how I want to learn my lessons forever. I just want this one person, or I want this one experience to be my everything in terms of how I learn things in the world. And the universe is like, no, Leo, that's not how this works. Stop clawing. Stop clawing. Like, you must understand now that the insights that you're receiving about yourself and about others in the greater Aquarius, your relationship with others, the insight that you're receiving now, it's so important for you, because without this insight you will not stop clinging. And I'm not saying clinging to a person, I'm talking about clinging to a certain ideal, clinging to a certain necessity that you have to be with a person in this way, or a person has to behave this way with you. All of that is about to be upended. That's really the theme with all the cards being in reverse. Everything is about to be upended. And why? Because March and April bring more and more opportunities to you, more and more lessons to you, but you have the chance to level up in terms of the lessons that you were learning instead of learning the same ones over and over again. So excuse me, let's look now. And you can, obviously you are meant to look at these cards. That's why they're coming up the way they're coming up. They're meant for you to see right side up. So take a look. Here they are. Okay. And right away, you will note that, oh, darn it. Sorry, my lighting situation just went south. I don't know what happened. Right away, you'll see that if all of these were turned upright, you'd actually have no problem with it, right? So very, very important to realize why. Because this is about perception. If you were to learn these lessons and not be proud about them, this will just be insight and not terrible, painful insight. It'll just be like this, okay? If you take the solar eclipse in stride and, again, devoid yourself of pride and look with an unbiased eye at what the eclipse is showing you about how you interact with others and where you can rehabilitate your relationships with others, then this is just a wish that's coming true instead of the star in reverse. Okay. If you are able to connect with those people who are coming at you from a place of intense feeling and perhaps not as much doing as feeling, okay? So the water signs can have a tendency to be very mysterious in that they'll feel a lot, but they won't do anything about it, and especially not in the ways that Leos would like them to. So if you can hold space for someone who has that energy without pushing them into doing more before they feel it, then this is just the King of Cups in your life instead of the King of Cups in reverse. The Lovers. So as you can see, when it's upright, it's wonderful. It's what you're wanting. It's what you're needing. It's what you're already in. It's what you thought you were in. It's all those different connections that you're holding on to and saying, I really like this. Okay? But in reverse, it's you doubting your ability to connect, you doubting other people's mutual attraction for you. There's a strong doubt running through these 4 cards about you doubting yourself. You doubting yourself in relation to yourself, in relation to others, in relation to emotions and feelings, and in relation to partners. There's fear here. And I understand, like I said, there's some eclipses coming up. It's not going to be the easiest time. There are painful realizations you will have to have. You're not going to be crazy about it. But this level of anxiety here with all these cards in reverse, you're just adding fuel to the fire. And this doesn't have to be a violent process. This doesn't have to hurt as much as right now you may be hurting. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Because if you can see how this is all part of, always part of a larger prep to make the next step easier, then what is the next step, positive step after this? Well, that's, walking into March, knowing more about yourself and more about how you want to treat others, and therefore knowing more about how you want them to treat you. How you want them to treat you. And then the Hierophant and the Ace of Pentacles. So Earth energy, super strong. Virgo card, Taurus card, money card. Okay. In terms of business and money, we are coming into a time when Taurus is going to move soon. Money is going to get better and better. Business-wise, things are going to get better and better and better. If you have a Taurus in your life, they are actually coming up right side up. So Leo, if you've got a Taurus in your life right now that has been feeling like the support system that you need, they're still showing up that way. Very strong, very stable, and you also are in line for some sort of just, hey, here, take this, Leo. We know you're panicky and, upset, so the universe is like, us, all the collective us is like, here, Leo, take this. So you may be feeling like you are being gifted by the universe in some way, with opportunity, with promotion, with money, with just a general sense of people, really responding to you and wanting to work with you. And you can see how long term this is going to just keep growing. There is a slow, steady sense of things getting more practical towards the end of the month, you coming out of your anxiety and being all in your feelings and moving more towards, okay, I need to get this done, I need to get that done, I need to check these boxes. This is about work. This is about working hard. This is about shifting focus. This is about being able to put aside what you need to put aside to get the job done. Both these energies are very good at that. Actually, these two energies are as well. So you're dealing with a lot of no-nonsense energies. Geminis are very no-nonsense. Aquarians are very no-nonsense. Virgos are, and so are Taurians. So there's a lot of we need to get stuff done energy, and you can't get stuff done until you can see clearly. And so these cards being an indication of not being able to see clearly, and then as we move into the later part of February, being able to see much more clearly, but also being more about the practical needs and requirements of just life, and understanding that although this can take up a lot of your mind, at the end of the day, you have to remain aware and cognizant of what's really, really going to be there for you. And by that, I mean you. By that, I mean the strong, stable, hardworking effort that you can make right now to secure your finances. You're going to have to employ this Taurus energy or draw from the Taurians in your life, or from one specific Taurus, if this is like resonating for you highly for one specific person, that group of people, that energy, if nothing else, is what needs to be brought to bear on late February for you to be magnetic to this money gift, to this just little pat on the back from the universe that it really wants to give you, but you got to get in the right vibe. And what's the vibe it wants you to be on? Stable. The opposite of what's going on here. Okay? So it's also a good sign because it means that out of the tumult will come stability, and you will again ground yourself, which is great. So no matter how upside down you feel right now, take heart. It is all going to be okay, and the rewards that you will reap may not necessarily be financial, may not be emotional at the end of the month like you would like, but financial rewards often are a precursor to other rewards. Just means that you're vibing in the right way, so don't worry. It's all on its way. I think the cards being in reverse up here also has to do with impatience and getting sick of waiting and becoming a bit aggy about it, and just being, just like a little aggressive, a little cat-like about not getting what you want when you want it. And that's fine. I understand it. But throwing yourself into, a stressful kind of downward spiral is not going to help, especially when you have these big star and hermit realizations coming up on you, where you to look at them from this upside down vantage point, it's going to suck for you. And there's no need for you to look at them that way. No need for you to be afraid. This isn't about confirming that you're always going to be alone or why you're always going to be alone. Stop thinking that stuff. That's not what this is about at all. Oh. Wow, so much reversal, huh? 5 of Cups in reverse. Well, that's good at least. It means that we somehow loosen up this energy, but it also means that the last 2 cups behind you, that we usually say, hey man, just turn around, there's 2 cups behind you. Those last 2 cups are getting emptied as well. So this is definitely the absolute ending to something that you may have understood for a long time was not working, and yet you were still hanging on to it in this like weird way where even though there was nothing going on, you still had some strange regret about it, and there was still some hope or chance there, but now at the end of February, you're completely sure that it is over. And the way this is coming up with the Five of Cups in reverse, I don't think this is by choice. I don't think you guys are choosing for that situation to be over. It just becomes really, really, really clear to you that it is over. And this is not something recent. This is something from the past that you're still trying to heal from, and we're having a really difficult time moving past, which is why it was the Five of Cups. And now the Five of Cups in reverse, then the last two cups have spilled. Whatever you were regretful about, if you had any even small connection left to that thing, that is now turned upside down. It's taken away. And so the slate is clear. And that makes sense because you've just learned a lot about yourself. You've just learned a lot about how you deal with other people. You've just learned a lot about how you are when you're in love. And you need the cobwebs cleared away now. And you need to not be in this Five of Cups energy anymore. So, the reversal is fine because that means that we're finally able to move past this stagnant energy into something new. And that means you're healing. Leos heal so fast, but only when they want to. You guys can keep yourself from healing if you want to, for sure. You can stop your own healing and stay wounded if you want to. That's also within your power. Just like speed healing is within your power, just like resilience and being really super strong and able to heal super fast is one of your powers. Also, keeping yourself wounded is one of your powers. You don't have to allow that healing. And I feel like in a lot of ways you haven't been allowing that healing. And now February comes in and forces you to examine where you're holding that toxicity and forces you to empty these cups out and forces you to move forward into an unknown. But it gives you a little gift as you go so you don't get too scared. So you take heart and slowly move forward with this kind of Taurus inch forward with determination energy. And yes, there's a lot of weird realizations and endings going on here, but it all seems so positive to me. The Ace of Pentacles there to remind you, hey, you will be rewarded for all that is being removed from your life right now, and all that is being removed is just being removed to make way for this huge gold coin, Okay? And then, like I said, the lunar eclipse in your sign in about 10 days from now at the end of January is really, really important. What it does is it opens up for you, first of all, it's major arcana turned right side up. So what this is saying is now that we've discussed what your anxiety is about, the lunar eclipse actually showing up right side up as a positive, as something that opens you up emotionally and in terms of manifestation and in terms of action to that which now makes sense for you to do for yourself. It is after this eclipse and after the harsh truths and insights that one gains about oneself that this energy is truly beneficial to you, this Two of Wands energy. Before the eclipse, before you have these realizations, the Two of Wands is just going to manifest as you running in circles and not knowing what to do with yourself. After the eclipse, you will have such insight into something so specific about yourself that you just never saw, that it will open you up in a way that everything is Two of Wands then. You just want to go out there and do it. You have a million ideas. You have a million places you want to see. It's like you're jump started and you want to for real live again, right? You want to have fun again. You want to get past the tumult and the anxiety. You want to just be happy again. And it's been a while since you've allowed yourself to even think about that as a possibility. So this eclipse comes in and is like, I'm a lunar eclipse in Leo. What are you lamenting? What are you not letting go of? What do you know is holding you back and you're still just wanting to hold on to it because you'd rather be, like I said, dumb and right than smart and wrong? I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying sometimes you guys would rather be stupid about something and be like, no, I'm right, than admit that you were wrong about something and be smart, So that's just one example. So the eclipse comes in and really shows you something about yourself and says, look, look, look. And it opens you up. Like I said, these can be positives, right? So now the cards are, backing me up. It can be a positive. And now, having gained this insight, you move towards this eclipse and into February with a much more positive outlook. And that being, I want to get out there and use what I'm being given and use this drive and determination to forge ahead and away from what I know and, take more risks emotionally, in terms of job, in terms of friendships, in terms of what type of people you will date. It's all now about branching out once you realize that life doesn't have to be this upside down nightmare all the time. Excuse me. Now, if you're dealing with a water sign, with a Pisces or a Cancer, or even a Scorpio, you are really, it looks like, fed up, and you just want to get away from them, and they're really turned upside down by it, and they don't know what to do, and you don't know what to do, and you're frightened about it, and they're frightened in their own way because they're used to controlling you, and they don't know what they're going to do if they can't control you anymore, and they're panicking, and you just want to get away. If this is the situation, and I know that sounds really specific, but I just feel it coming off the cards. If this is your situation, then you must really stay with this Two of Wands energy and really explore what that means to you. In what aspect of your life do you need to plan your getaway? And once you know, you'll know when I asked you that, you already know what that part of your life is. Then sit down and start doing it. Sit down and make that list of what you need to actually do to plan that getting away from whatever it is, because that's what February is leading you to. That's what February is holding your hand through. Get away from this, and this. So in March, this and this and this can get near you. Need empty space for other things to get near you. Need empty space for other things to come near you. And that's part of what the lunar eclipse will be about as well. It'll be about emptying out space in your head by showing you truths, uncomfortable, albeit truths, but still it will leave empty space in your mind for new thoughts and new ideas and new desires to come in. And that's ultimately what we, live for, is the ability to constantly inspire ourselves and do things to excite ourselves and have fun. And that's all what the Two of Wands is pointing to. And we'll take more of a look at that in the extended, but it's all about moving into a happier, more secure, more me-centered life that isn't anxiety-ridden. So not me-centered as in, if you don't pay attention to me, I'm going to freak out, but me-centered as in, I don't need anyone to pay attention to me. I'm not going to freak out. I'm good. Once Leos understand that it's not the attention from others that was ever what they had on tap, it's attention from the universe. Once you get that, and once you know that you'll always have that, golden sort of sun halo, then all this becomes easier. All these cards turn upside, right side up. And the realizations are more pleasant learning experiences than painful, pushes. And regardless of if it's painful or happy or how you get here, the end of the month with the Ace of Pentacles, the reverse Five of Cups, the Two of Wands, the Moon, it's all about, it's all about this wholeness. It's all about things being emptied so other things can be made complete. Sphere. It's a sphere is the shape that holds the most volume. So it's about this fullness that's going to be coming into your life. And these aspects of either not being able to see things about yourself, not being able to see things about the people you surround yourself with, not being able to get in touch with your own deeper feelings, not being able to trust, okay, all of that needs to be emptied and dealt with and pulled out of you so these spheres are empty so they can be filled up with the right things. Just like the cups being, upturned and then emptied. Five of Cups in reverse. All right, Leo. We'll take a look at the bottom of the deck in the extended. which will be up in a few days. And if you can't access it, then please go to my website. All right. I love you. I will see you in March. Bye.